Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of September the 29th, 2025. We are wrapping up the month of September this week and also starting the month of October and coming off of a very complicated week of astrology. So I'm filming this early. So let's hope we negotiated it all with skill, with style, and with grace. I still think there might be a little bit of a residual bit of energy as we enter this week, especially with that Mars-Pluto angle. But even our difficult aspects this week involve the benefic planets, the blessing planets of Jupiter and Venus. Now, as we begin the week, we still have, and remember, this is in play for a long wave, a long period of time, this minor grand trine between the outer planets. They are all moving harmoniously. They are all, however, in somewhat new signs, right? And so this is why the acceleration of change, this is why everything feels pretty out of control. Yeah, unfortunately, this is it. This is us kind of being escorted into our future. Now, interestingly enough, Saturn has retrograded back into Pisces, so there's a reconsideration there. We will have Neptune moving back to the very late degrees of Pisces next month in October. We also have Uranus preparing to move back into Taurus. So, this is going to feel a little bit like we're having flashbacks of some of the things that were hinted at or we came into experiencing this spring and over the summer. So this fall and winter, definitely make sure you clear your calendar and have some time to really integrate and understand the symbols, the signs, and what's coming next year and moving forward. I keep reminding people, we are not going back to the way things were. We never will. This is the future. We need to see it. We need to understand it and understand our part to play and how to high vibe our experience. So we still have all this week the harmonious flow between Pluto, the planet of rebirth, with Uranus, the planet of change and technology, both sending beautiful energy to Neptune, the planet of inspiration, or in its shadow, confusion, delusion. Saturn has come kind of out of the resonance because it's moving backwards in the sign of Pisces. It's kind of broken the spell, so to speak. So it's still powerfully moving through the sky, but it's not necessarily playing the same game as those outer planets. Now, the first thing to pay attention to this week is that we have Mercury in the sign of Libra moving into a square, a difficult angle with Jupiter in Cancer. When Mercury is in Libra, it has balance on its mind. It wants to talk about what's right and what's fair and what's equitable. It wants to think about partnerships and love and, throwing parties and kind of social things. It likes steadiness. It does not like to be argumentative. Jupiter is the lawgiver, and in the sign of Cancer, it can be very concerned with familial things, also very territorial, concerned with country or nationality, things of that nature. And so there's this conflict here between the desire for the mind to stay balanced and focused on justice, and Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, which also, of course, wants peace and justice as natural ruler of the ninth house, Jupiter. But it has a lot of intense feelings in the sign of Cancer. So watch for arguments that spring up between factions or accelerated arguments around patriotism, country, nationality. No, we don't need any more fuel on that fire this week, but that's where some of the energy will be. But also realize that you don't want to overextend yourself. Venus in Cancer with that... with Mercury in Libra always wants to smile and say, sure, yeah, I'll take care of that, or no problem. So don't overextend yourself and don't end up saying yes when you actually mean no. That can be one of the things to watch out for with this particular energy. Now, you'll feel it as we start the week, but the actual exact square between them occurs on October the 2nd, so just keep that in mind. Then the next thing we're going to watch out for is the fact that Venus is slowly moving towards the South Node in Virgo. Now, remember, the South Node is moving backwards, so they're moving towards each other rather rapidly. And from the middle of the week on through the end of the week, we are dealing with Venus in the sign of Virgo, contacting the tail of the dragon. So the South Node can amplify the shadow of a particular sign. So in this case, the shadow of Virgo is being a martyr, going it alone, feeling like you must sacrifice yourself for others. The shadow of Virgo is perfectionism, cruelty to oneself because one is not measuring up, or having expectations that are unreasonable and in fact just checking out because if you can't do it, if it can't be done your way and it can't be done perfectly, then you just don't care. Apathy is the fallback. So we have to be aware of those tendencies, but we also have to really look at where the Virgo part of our chart is and ask yourself, like, what's being taken? Okay, right? The South Node takes away. The South Node removes. It depletes. And so it could be that you're experiencing this actually taking away this desire from perfection or this need to control things. And Venus shows up there and really exposes, your personal growth in that area and how maybe instead you are able to see more clearly what you love, what you're passionate about, where your priorities lie. Remember, across the sky is the opposite energy. So it's the North Node accentuating Pisces energy, which is part of the reason some of us feel like we're drowning in the pain of the universe, right? We're drowning in everyone else's pain. The lines are blurry between other people's suffering and our own. And some people react to that suffering with anger and immaturity, and other people withdraw. Other people pray. Some of us meditate and pray. So we have to find a balance, right? So remember, also, it's not just Venus meeting the South Node, it's Venus standing across the sky from the North Node in Pisces. So her analytical and critical nature must be balanced with compassion and expansive thinking. Now, this actually occurs on the 4th, the exact opposition and conjunction. But again, I think you'll feel it from midweek on. And so this is one of the primary energies that we're experiencing. The other thing to kind of just put out there that we're just starting to sense and feel that you'll get more into next week is that Jupiter is also moving into a difficult angle with Chiron. Chiron, the wounded part of our soul, which is currently transiting through Aries. And so there's something here that could bring up issues around family, feelings of abandonment, feelings of having to, again, go it alone, which is sometimes Aries is more the energy of the lone wolf versus the martyr of Virgo. So if you start to feel those kind of promptings, that's something to manage. And you might wish to just look back 12 years ago, last time Jupiter was in Cancer, it was not making these exact aspects, but it still was traversing for the same area of life. So where can you lean into the natural optimism of Jupiter, the natural hope that Jupiter brings, and the opportunities that Jupiter brings that when she's in these squares with different planets can sometimes feel like they're disguised in a difficulty or a problem, but really turn out to be a beautiful opportunity. Now, a quick couple moon voids to mention. Please adjust these for your time zone. I always use East Coast time, but I have on my website a blog every month that indicates for at least, I think it's 8 different time zones. So we're going to watch on the 29th, the moon is void from 1:44 a.m. until 5:55 a.m. We're also going to observe October the 1st. The moon is void from 11:33 a.m. until 3:52 p.m. Eastern. On the 3rd, from 2:15 p.m. Eastern till 10:07 p.m. Eastern. And then on October the 5th, we finish the week. Moon void 8:30 p.m. until the 6th at 12:48 a.m. Eastern. Now, if you are sitting here thinking, all right, that's awesome. What is a moon void anyways? Please search my channel. I think I have it in the description below. Not a lot of astrologers talk about it, but moon voids really do function. They're universal loopholes. When you try to do something during a moon void, it doesn't stick. And that can be either something positive because you don't want to fall through, or a mistake is made and the consequences are not as dire, or you are trying to really lock something in, do something permanent, get married, sign a contract, launch a business, do it during a moon void, and it's not going to get the traction that you want. So it's important for you to understand when those are happening. Please stick around for the Celtic Cross. I did it on the meeting of Venus and the South Node in Virgo, so I hope that's helpful. And then I always do an Isis Lotus tarot spread for each week that I post the day before this video, so please look for that if you find that helpful. Hello, my friends, and namaste. Let's take a look at this movement of Venus towards the South Node in Virgo. Now, this also means, therefore, that the North Node is standing across the sky in Pisces. Now, this reading is for the collective, a Celtic Cross, and remember that Venus is not enjoying her time in the sign of Virgo. It can be a little tense for her. And the South Node all by itself represents depletion or decrease. And so it can, I'm looking to this maybe causing some issues financially, causing some issues with love, with, things that relate to aesthetics or beauty. So let's see what the guidance is from the cards on this meeting of Venus in the South Node, which is pretty much in play from midweek on through the weekend. All right. Now, the first card in the situation is us as the querent. So this is you. Ooh, Seven of Swords, risk of loss or theft. So again, the dragon's tail, it decreases, it takes. So this is something that we need to be careful about. We are at risk. What is crossing us? The devil. Okay. And the reading gets more interesting. Yeah, the devil can mean deception. It can mean cruelty. It can mean dark or lower energies. It can be difficult emotions, inflamed passions. Yeah, let's keep rolling and see what else this can let us know. Now, in the past, Seven of Pentacles, we've been pretty focused on looking at long-term things. So I'm guessing this is like a financial portent. And then future, Page of Pentacles. Again, Pentacles, finance or money, and a new idea that's coming forth. Now, what are we thinking? Ten of Swords. We're pretty bummed out about something not going according to plan, something that we feel like was a failure, a mess. We feel shameful. We feel distraught. We feel like we're suffering. We feel fearful. But this also is a card of optimism because it reminds us that something else ended, so something new will begin. Subconsciously, Six of Wands, we're trying to find the thing that helps us to feel seen and appreciated. We're looking to make the right decision, and we don't want to just have this small satisfaction within ourselves. There's something about needing to be seen in this decision making. Advice, Four of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card because it can mean either trust the process or it can mean that we are being lazy. So we'll continue and see where this unfolds. Outside influence, Ace of Swords, a new beginning. So what do we want to happen? The Star. We want to pick up the pieces. We want to make things better. We want to come to wholeness again. Outcome, Nine of Pentacles. So this is a savvy, experienced woman who has resources, money, abundance, and feels empowered to make decisions. So it's a very nice outcome. So this makes me think that this is actually going to be about fixing something, that the Venus connecting to the South Node is about the repair stage of whatever this event is. Reader's fan, Two of Cups, the perfect thing or situation or person. Moon, lots of emotionality here, but also stay connected to intuition. Ace of Pentacles, there also could be a new beginning financially or with real estate. And Strength reminds us to be patient, to be gentle. So I feel like there's some potential here for overreacting to the events. I feel like this Four of Cups is indeed telling us to trust the process and trust the outcomes, trust the evolution, and of course, trust this Ten of Swords situation to actually turn out to be a positive event. This Reader's fan is super encouraging. And remember, the Reader's fan cards are not weighted as strongly as these other cards. So advice, trust the process. Ace of Swords, make new rational beginnings. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a marvelous week. I'll see you next week. Bye.